everybody, and welcome to the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas. Thank you so much for joining us today. We've got an epic show ahead, but just remember, if any of you have experiences you'd like to share, I'd love to hear from you. You can either email me at paranormalportalradio@gmail.com or head over to paranormalportal.net and scroll down and find the button that says Interview Me, and that'll allow you to look at a calendar of possible times and dates and find a date that works for you. Love to hear your stories, so definitely get in touch with me. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and we are embarking on another journey into the wonderful worlds of the strange and unknown. And special thank you to all of you out there that continue to support the show, continue to recommend the show. Again, I don't advertise this, so every bit of growth is thanks to all of you and your kind recommendations. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for all that love and support and your continued support listening. We got an amazing show for you guys today. I am joined by Barbara Mora, who is here to talk about her incredible amount of experiences and some of the weird things she's been through. So let's get right at it. Hey, Barbara, thanks for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Hi, Brent. I hope all is well. Hello, everyone.
Oh, well, now you've been a part of my community in the YouTube forever, and you and I have met several times at conferences and stuff, but I really want to thank you personally because you've been such a staunch and wonderful supporter and friend to me and to the show, and I want to thank you for all of that, all of the energy that you give the portal. It's just been amazing.
Very good. Thank you very much. You're number one. So number one on the list.
That's where I love to be.
And every time we're at a conference, I always send, go see Brent. Go see Paranormal Portal.
Yeah, I've been getting busier and busier ever since you've been a part of my world. So that must be what's going on.
That's good.
So you've had some pretty cool experiences. I guess kind of where I always start, as you know, as a listener, where did this begin for you? Is this something you've always had a fascination with, or was there an experience that kind of launched this for you and kind of drove you forward into, learning about this stuff and being a part of the community, or where did it start?
Well, I think it started when I was very young, and we used to live in an old adobe house in Malibu, California, and Highway 23, and it was a camp. My dad was a caretaker of a camp. Mm-hmm. So anyway, it was an old adobe house, and it had servants' quarters. So it was a big deal house way back when. Oh yeah. And so we moved over there, and every year we would have seances. Every time the family came to visit. Inevitably we would have seances. And the funny thing is the kids would have to sit under the table for some reason. I don't know why, but maybe just to keep us safe. Sure. Yeah. Have a parent kick me or something. Oh, Rich, don't scream. So I remember those times fondly. Okay. And in that same house, the fellow who lived there before, as I understand it, committed suicide. And his name was Cliff Olson. And my eldest sister, Patricia, would see this person in the window. And nobody believed her. She tended to be a little exaggerate, things. Sure. But lo and behold, one of those evenings I saw it also. Oh, really? And he would stand in one of the windows. Mind you, this house was built in probably 1920s. Okay. And so this man would just stand in the window and look in our room. And so it was quite the experience. I never told her that I did see him also.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you never did?
No, I never did. I never had the chance to, It never came up.
Okay, gotcha.
So that was interesting. Cliff Olson. And I still have to do history on that.
Okay.
To
Now, I'm curious.
find out if all this is really true. Who did I see in that window?
Right.
And it wasn't the first time. I mean, we've seen him before. I'm not sure if Cindy, my other sister, saw him.
Okay.
But certainly me and Patricia did.
Now, I've got to ask you, did it seem like it was something that you could see his reflection in the room, or did it seem like he was outside of the house looking in the window? What did that look like to you?
He was standing outside of the house because you could only see from his chest up.
Okay.
So he was definitely outside of the house.
Okay.
And I'm thinking I might draw him.
That'd be really neat. It would be neat
see
to
what
see.
Yeah.
Because I mean, just being on the outside looking in, what physically did it look like as far as features? Did he look like a younger man, an older man, or
middle-aged?
Middle-aged. Okay.
As I understand the story, his wife left him, and then he just couldn't cope. But anyway, he had a round face.
Uh-huh.
Didn't seem very tall.
Okay.
But he was really pale.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And being so young, that's all I can remember for the time being.
Sure.
That's but I'm going to try and draw him.
Did he have facial hair?
No.
Okay. So it was clean cut. Okay.
Yeah. Short hair.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. That's intense though. How old were you about this time?
Oh gosh, I was young before kindergarten.
Okay. So like
if not kindergarten. So, 5, 6.
Okay. Now, getting back, because you kind of started this in a place that I really can't say I've ever heard before, and that was the whole seance thing. That was a big part of when you were growing up, and that you guys were included in that. I mean,
Hello.
Yeah, hi, welcome to the world of the weird and wonderful.
Right.
But it's also kind of it had to have been. Do you remember that being scary at all? At that age?
Yeah, it was scary, but that's probably why the kids were put under the table to give. I know it's fun to give us the sense of we're going to be safe.
Okay,
so I'm okay with it.
yeah. I mean that's fine, and I'm not trying to question how you were raised or whatever, but it is unusual. Usually, of course, those kinds of things are done away from the presence of kids, but you guys were kind of right there. Do you have any memories of anything happening during those seances that was really bizarre?
Not really bizarre, but the typical lifting of the tables. Oh. And who's to say that it wasn't us kids, which I thought was really weird. How can we have a seance, put kids under the table and expect us to be still?
Right.
But the table did lift a few times. The few times that we had the seances, the table did react. Wow. And I don't think it was us kids.
That's interesting because, of course, that's one of the classic things that happens during those old school seances. I don't know if I don't know much about seances other than those historical stories, but certainly table levitating was one of the big signs. But it is interesting. And of course, you guys being under the table, you were right there,
exactly
in the presence of that. So that's pretty amazing. I mean, to each their own. I don't pretend to, I'm not certainly casting any aspersions or anything. It's just, it's not the typical story that I've heard. So that's very interesting. So you saw this apparition of the guy, and was this house generally pretty active?
That was the only activity that I've experienced.
Okay.
But my sister Patricia, she would have the majority of it. But being so young, that was the one key thing that she would always tell me about. And so it was a lovely house.
Yeah.
And unfortunately the fella, couldn't.
Couldn't hang on.
Couldn't continue. So, yeah.
That's kind of interesting now, that she seemed to be the focal point for that, and for any number of reasons. How much older was she than you I mean, you were about, possibly 4 to 6.
So she was born in 57 and I'm born in 62. So
okay, so
5 years, maybe.
5 years. Okay. So she was around 10 years old. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But because she was, prone to seeing him more often, we let it go until I saw him, and then I just bottled everything up.
How long did you guys live in this house? I mean, was it through your whole childhood, or?
No, we moved from LA when, I remember the day we moved in.
Yeah.
I must have been 2.
Okay. So
we were there for a few years.
Okay.
Before the family got separated, and my dad stayed up there.
Oh.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's kind of a pretty. So that was kind of your launching point. Obviously, that's a pretty unique story already, but that kind of drove you into at least having an interest in this stuff then throughout the course of your life.
Definitely. But I can't explain why I continue for this subject to be so important to me.
Oh, okay.
It's an important part of learning and experiences that I would like to continue to have.
Right.
But in the right.
Yeah, you don't want to be terrified or horrified or
No.
extraordinarily maliciously targeted by something. I understand what you're saying.
Right.
I mean, my interest kind of lies the same way. It's like I'm extraordinarily interested in this stuff. I just did an investigation just the other night that I streamed. That was a lot of fun. But I've been very fortunate too. I've not run into many dark things in my interest in this stuff, and that my interest spawns my lifetime as well. And it sounds like most of your experiences have been really pretty positive, or at least benign. Yeah.
Benign.
Okay.
Yeah. There was one instance where we came back to LA, and we were in another house with big windows, little panes.
Okay.
And I was sitting there with my friend, and we were watching TV or whatever. And, I saw this face in the bottom half of the window. Now, it could have been a dog.
Okay.
It could have been anything like that. But I've never known a dog to look like a Chinese dragon. That they're real fierce looking.
Sure.
And have those wild streams coming off of their face.
Sure.
It was a little disturbing.
Wow.
So I told my friend, you know what? I'm going to go upstairs and go to bed. She goes, you know what? Me too. I go, okay. And then the next morning, it turned out that she saw it too.
I was just going to ask that. Is that something she witnessed
she
as well?
saw it too. So we both jammed upstairs, not knowing that we both saw it until the next day. And that's when we talked about it. And yeah, that was really freaky. What the hell was that? It was a little frightening.
And of course, knowing that you're not the only one that saw it, it's also kind of a lifeline just in case you're questioning your sanity. Like, did I really see that? Because it's really human nature, and the times that I've seen something and experienced things with somebody, I've been very grateful for that, because at least I can go, yeah, but it wasn't just me. So it must have really happened. Like, if you're alone and things happen, and I've got several of those as well, but you do. I mean, I think it's human nature. You just question, well, is that really what happened? Is that really it? I mean, could it really have been that? And I don't know. I've just always got that kind of mind, but it does help knowing you're not experiencing things alone.
Right. And to this day, I still question, was that a dog? It couldn't have been. It was that scary looking.
So you saw the actual like things coming off the face.
I did.
And
I did.
Yeah, if you saw that, that already seems to remove dog from the equation, just because, I mean, dogs have whiskers, but I don't think you'd really notice that
No.
through a window.
Not at night, no.
Yeah.
And it was at night. And I could see the because there was light in the house.
Mm-hmm.
I can see, the light shining on this thing.
And
it's pretty freaky.
Yeah, this is in the LA area as well.
Yeah.
See,
it's LA County.
That's really interesting because, of course, there's legends of these lizard people or at least reptilian kind of things living in the LA area.
That never crossed my mind. Thank you.
Well, sure. I mean, it's my job. Thank you. No, but I think that may, and God only knows what they look like. But, when you said dragon and then lizard, and then I'm thinking, well, you're in that region. Is it possible? And it's anybody's guess, but I think it's at least worth exploring the possibility of it. I haven't heard many witness descriptions of those that I can recall offhand, but maybe that's not uncommon to see those things coming off their face.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But you know what? In the same area, and my cousin, you met her at Vernal.
Right.
She reminded me of a story of because we all lived at my grandmother's apartments. It was like it was great. So my boy cousins come running in just after dark, and they're yelling, there's a big hairy man chasing us. He came out of the sewers and he's chasing us. And Renee just reminded me of that story. Oh my God, I remember that story. Uh-huh. And now that this is going on, the Bigfoot phenomenon,
right?
Now that's, being more noticed, I'm going, what was it that they saw? Because there was no calming them down. There was none. And we tried to go over, was it a vagabond,
sure,
anybody just scaring you? They defended. It was something hairy.
Wow.
Coming out of the sewers. And that's what was weird.
That's true. And I've been hearing more and more, and maybe it's, again, a function of more people are talking about this than ever before, but I've been hearing more and more about these urban experiences with cryptids like Dogman and Bigfoot. I just heard the other day on a show that I think it was when I was on with Paul and Krista, maybe, I don't remember. Maybe it was on Rob's show. I don't really recall, but basically someone reported seeing a Dogman under the St. Louis Arch. And it's
really?
like, wow. I mean, what are the odds? Because oftentimes we think of those things like, oh, well, that's out in the woods. But I think perhaps, and maybe they always have, but they're so good at hiding. And then again, most urban people don't really lift their faces up and look around a whole lot. They might have missed a million times that happening. But yeah, I mean, urban experiences with these cryptids is not uncommon, surprisingly.
Do you think because it's on people's minds more often, do you think that they're manifesting more because of the people are focusing?
Sure.
What do you call it? A tulpa?
Well, that would, yeah, in an individual, it would be a tulpa, but if it's a group of people, it would be a egregore,
Okay.
Yeah. But, and that's a great, there's also a potential confirmation bias. It's like, well, I saw something I don't explain. It must have been a Bigfoot. I saw something big and looked kind of humanoid, probably Bigfoot. And so because they obviously want to have experiences. So it might have just been an oversized guy and in the shadows. Well, it can become a Bigfoot for people. So, I mean, there's that too, but certainly there's the concept of manifested, phenomena that's being manifested by the very experiencers in some measure. And I believe in that completely. But I think that I think there's many different parts to all of this. I think there's the genuine phenomena, then there's the perhaps manifested, or even I dare say hallucinated. But I think that the experience is real for the person, whether or not it's actually physical or if it's perceived. And then there's just the misidentifications, and so there's all of the above. That could be any number of these reports, and what percentages, who could ever say? But it is.
Right.
I think you're right. I think that's at least a good portion of it, and I include that in hauntings. That I think a lot of people are projecting their own poltergeists. Oftentimes we assume that the poltergeist phenomena is generated primarily, not exclusively, but primarily by pubescent or prepubescent girls that are having some kind of changes in their body, and they're suddenly projecting this huge psychokinetic energy out of them. But I think that can hold true for anybody of any age. And, if people believe in something enough, it'll start occurring, whether it's an organic presence or something that's literally born out of their own fears or their own anxieties,
Right. And I always have to go back to, I have to be logical about all this stuff. I
Right.
really have to be logical.
Yes.
And just a quick note, when you were explaining all of that, I don't know what it means. I was having a deja vu.
Really?
So, yeah.
Okay.
So wherever that comes from,
Yeah.
it just happened.
Well, fantastic.
So, yeah.
Huh. Well, that's cool. Yeah, I think those are powerful presences, powerful moments. Definitely. I love the whole deja vu thing. I think that means something very profound as well. I don't necessarily know what, but I think to dismiss those kind of things is probably a mistake. So
Well, I have them often, but this was one of them.
yeah,
It's just one of those things. Yeah.
very, very cool. So where are we going next on your journey?
Well, let's see. Chinese dragon. Let's see. Oh, so we moved up here in Wrightwood in 2020, and my husband passed away shortly after moving up here.
I'm sorry.
And thank you. And so I have to keep myself busy. So I took a ceramics class. So I'm doing my thing. If anybody needs ceramics, damn it, I got a lot. So
And you're wonderfully talented too. I have several pieces of yours, and
Thank you.
and I love them. They're wonderful.
Thank you. But this one piece, I had made it, molded it, and everything, and it was setting on the piano to dry. And it was almost dry. And I remember the night before I discovered that it was broken, I remember my dog not wanting to come into the living room.
Oh.
She didn't sleep in my room until after that night.
Wow.
Now she's a regular,
Huh.
But that night she would not go into the living room, which I thought was really odd. What are you talking about? Just go to bed. But so after I settled her down, finally fell asleep. And in the morning, I woke up to discover that this ceramic piece that I made that was drying was broken. And what I find odd about that is that the piece it was a bowl. The piece should have fell out, but I discovered that the piece was inside the bowl.
Oh.
And that was odd to me.
Right.
I mean, does that make sense?
Sure.
You'd think that it would fall out.
Right.
But it didn't. It ended up inside the bowl. And so I have to think.
Was there, I'm just curious, and this just question just came to me, but was there anything depicted on the bowl, any kind of scene or any kind of characters or just design or what?
No, it was just a bowl that I had made in the shape of a flower, and it was sitting out to dry, and it just, I discovered it broken. So it was a trip. Now I have to say, I still have my husband's ashes in the house.
Okay.
So where was I?
You were talking about that you have your husband's ashes still there.
Yeah. So I do believe he's still here,
Sure.
and not as much as he used to be. but he is still here. And I need to take those ashes to the cemetery where the majority of his family is buried, which is in LA.
Oh.
So, and I have yet to do that. So he's still here. Not as much, but
sure.
yes, he's still here. And I think he had a lot to do with that bowl.
Did he not like flowers?
And freaking out the dog.
Could very well be. I think that our loved ones can stay around us for quite some time following, their passing. I think my dad, when he passed, I think he stuck around. He is home. My mom and he's home for years. Literally. And it's like you say, it just kind of, seems to lessen and lessen over time. And maybe it's part of the transition, or they're just, they just love us and they want to be around to make sure we're okay. And as we're doing more and more okay, they just move on a little more. And I love that idea anyway.
Well, he does. He lets me know he's here in another way, but that's personal.
Right,
so
right.
I'm not going to get into that.
No. I don't want you to divulge, things that are much more private to you. But yeah, I think that's wonderful. That he's still with you and looking over you. But I wonder what he didn't like about that bowl.
I think he was curious.
Oh, okay.
I think he was just curious, and he just. Oh, sorry, dear.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Like if he was there, you would have said, "Hey, do not touch this bowl." But since, you didn't mention it, he probably said, "Oh, look at that."
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah. He should apologize to the dog, too, for scaring the hell out of her. Oh. You hear that, honey?
Well, maybe when he broke it, he was like, it made a lot of noise, and the dog was like, hey. So he's like, oh, she's going to be so mad at me.
Whatever happens. But, it's nice that he's here.
Yeah.
I know he's looking after me, and, but he does have to go home with his family.
Oh, of course.
That's a must.
Yeah. I'm sure that he will at some point, but it's nice that he's probably there with you. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, the scoundrel.
Yeah.
Well, another time when I was taking care of my sister because she had shoulder surgery, and she was up here for 2 or 3 weeks. And, I'm not the neatest person, but she is. She's OCD, and that's fine.
Right.
I tidy up for her. But this one night, or the next morning, I should say, we both get up and I look, she must be feeling better because the chair she sits in was really tucked in. Pillows were fluffed. It was a magnificent chair.
Nice.
That morning. I didn't do it. She didn't do it because you're feeling better. You fixed your chair. No, that wasn't me. Well, it wasn't me.
Oh, wow.
Well, who was it? She attributes that to my dad.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. But the chair was like showroom.
Wow.
I'm not the one that does this stuff. I don't fluff the pillows. I don't tuck stuff in.
That's just not the way it works. Oh, that's cool. I've always said if you're going to have a haunting, you should have someone that's willing to help clean up and dust and maybe drag a vacuum. That'd be great.
Amen to that.
Yeah. Well, that's
Amen.
Cool.
You hear that, family? There you go.
It's time to pitch in. Let's go. Yeah.
Christmas time. Come on. You help.
Yeah,
because I lost several people over like a 5-year period. I mean, aunts, uncles, cousins. I mean, it was a lot.
Yeah.
So they're still here.
Yeah,
that's probably why my Cindy's friend says that the house is crowded.
Yeah,
because they come and visit, which is fine.
Yeah, that must mean it's such a wonderful environment. They want to come hang out. If I can talk. Yeah. Just
hang out. Yeah. And I'm cool with that. They don't frighten me. Matter of fact, when my grandmother was passing away, like 2-3 days before that, Cindy, again, was taking care of my grandmother, but she had to stay alone for that night.
Oh.
And when somebody passes away in my family, light bulbs pop.
Really?
They go out.
Oh.
So this was happening throughout the house where my grandmother was, preparing to pass on.
Uh-huh.
And I told her, I go, Cindy, this happens all the time. You know, when somebody passes away in our family, I know that the lights pop. They go out.
Uh-huh.
They blow up.
Oof.
And she looks at me like she's going to start crying. She goes, why would you tell me that when I have to stay here alone? I go, Cindy, it's family.
Right.
You're going to be okay. You're surrounded by family. And she looked at me like, bitch. But I think she realized it and just let it go. I'm going, don't worry about it. Just be okay with it. Yeah. So that was, yeah.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool that you're given an omen like that, because that's pretty powerful. And I think, I don't know, I think those kind of things are they help us in a manner because I think it shows us we're not alone, and especially when you're going into what would be a grieving process, just knowing that somebody let you know that loves you and is part of your world. Let you know, I think to me is very comforting, and maybe I'm bizarre, so I don't know. I don't know how the listeners are going to feel about that, but I like that stuff. I really do.
Yeah. Well, another thing that happens for me is, I don't know where this fits in, but crows.
Oh.
When I also have other family passing away, a crow, like my husband, a crow would come close. I mean, within feet of me. And that's happened a couple of times in my life.
Oh, wow.
Where I do attribute it to somebody passing close, near soon. So I knew he was on limited time because he was very, very, very sick.
Oh.
He was really very sick. So when I saw the crow outside in the backyard that was feet away from me, I knew within a few days he would pass.
Oh.
Of course, I didn't tell him that. I mean, that's just not what I do.
Right.
So,
yeah.
So it's pretty profound.
Yeah, crows are a pretty mystical symbol in so many ways anyway, but yeah, that's neat.
That's what I discovered.
That's really cool. Wow.
And so those two things happen when family passes on.
So the other side of it though is that some people listening may be like, well, crow is a black symbol and it must mean that evil's coming and maybe that's what happens. It's like, oh, no. I think we are so programmed by Hollywood in terms of, well, if it's white, it's good, and if it's dark, it's bad, and
I can see that.
Yeah, the old black hats during the cowboy movies, and you always knew those are the bad guys even before they said anything. Oh, they're wearing a black hat, they're not good, and it just kind of becomes such a cliched stereotype. But I know there's many cultures around the world that they view black as the divine color because apparently it's the presence to them. It's the presence of all colors, and at least in one example. Whereas white is a very solitary, and maybe those beliefs were made up long before people understood prisms and how to break the white light into the spectrums. But at any rate, I think that I don't think you can just look. Oh, it's a crow. It's an evil omen. Oh no. That's just, I think you're missing the beauty of that moment if that's the way you look at the world.
Well, when I see them around the backyard now, because I live in the mountains, so yes, there are crows and, and they're carrion scavengers, they do that cleanup.
Sure. Yep.
When I see them in near proximity now, not on the port, this is at a distance,
Sure.
I go, I hope you're not here to take somebody. Go away. If you're not gonna just go away, and they just fly off.
Sure. Yeah.
But none of this business.
Right.
I'm not having it today.
Yeah. I've had enough. I need a break. Yeah, absolutely. But I think signs and portents like that are very, very powerful. And I think that in many cases, most people don't recognize the symbolism that's being shown to us in a lot of ways. And again, right. if it is recognized as something more esoteric, it's usually regarded as, oh, that must be evil. That must mean something dark and horrible's coming. And it's like, maybe it's nothing like that. But death isn't dark and horrible to me. Right. Exactly.
It's a process.
Right.
So,
yep.
So it's an omen, but it depends on where you place it.
Right. I mean,
your heart and mind.
Exactly. And in looking at the condition so many people exist in prior to their passing, it's like, it's one of the greatest gifts, I think, is to be able to release and to move on rather than living in a body that's tormented and miserable. So, I agree. I think that, there's one constant that we're all going to face one day, and that's that we're going to pass through this realm and pass into whatever's next. And certainly it could be a time of celebration, or it could be a time of, obviously mourning and letting go, but it's mostly from our perspective more so than the other sides,
Yeah, and that happened when my dad passed away, because we were me and Cindy. I did everything with Cindy because she's just older, just the one sister above me.
Okay.
So she was stuck with me all the time. God bless her.
Uh-huh.
So we were house sitting in El Sereno, which is part of LA, and I could not sleep at all. Just could not sleep at all, and my dad was constantly on my mind. And I realized when I saw the sunrise that he was gone.
Oh.
And he died, he was an alcoholic. So
okay.
he was, yeah. So I didn't feel bad then either, because I knew how much he was suffering.
Yeah.
And I was pretty damn young. Oh. I mean, not as young as the Cliff Olson story, but I was still pretty damn young. I was in elementary school.
Right. Oh.
So, but after I saw the sunrise, I was able to sleep. Of course, being tired.
Yeah. Well,
but
sure. But still. Yeah.
But still, when I saw the sunrise, that's when it hit me.
Oh.
Okay. So when they told me of the news that he had passed away, I was okay.
Yeah.
I was okay. I didn't cry. I didn't cry. It's just okay.
Oh,
he's okay
cool.
now. And you go on with it. You go on with the day. I mean, that didn't sound right, but
no,
you go on. You go forward.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And you can't stop, the fact that it's going to happen. We're all going to have to deal with that happening around us and eventually to us. And so I guess it's probably a good thing to get your heart right with it, because, it's an inevitability, unfortunately.
I'm right with it, but
yeah.
I don't want to leave soon. No. I hope to be around for a little while, at least 30 more years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm not in a rush either. But when it happens, I'll just know that, hey, that's just part of the journey. We're all going to get there. But it's amazing how much I think this stuff really does permeate our lives in terms of signs, symbols, the fact that there's, I think it all, not only the presences, not only the cryptids, not only, seeing weird stuff, but just those, I think those signs like you're mentioning are a big part of this too, that often gets overlooked, like the coincidences and the serendipities, and I think are all powerful reminders that we are just woven into this incredible divine fabric, and there's amazing stuff going on around us all the time. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Divine fabric is a perfect way to say it, because it is a tapestry. It's woven. It has your place. It is fabric.
Yeah.
The universe.
And it's all interconnected,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The threads all.
So that was a good way to put it.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. And then at one time, our car was broken into in another town, close to LA. And they took this little coin purse, a beaded coin purse that my mom had given me.
Oh.
And I was pissed off.
Yeah.
You know, there was nothing in the car valuable except for this one item, which was valuable to me.
Right. Sentimentally.
And it didn't have money in it. And they took that.
Oh.
And like I said, I was pissed. And we did the report thing and everything. And they said, just let it go. You're not going to get it back. Okay.
Yeah.
The next morning, sitting next to the car that was just broken into was a beaded purse. So I think my mom left that for me.
But it wasn't the same one.
It wasn't the same one.
Wow.
But it was a replacement. So I think my mom left it for me.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That was the only thing that was taken out of the car.
Wow. Did they break a window to do it, or was the car just unlocked?
No, they used something to open the door.
Oh, okay.
Because it wasn't it was intact.
Right, one of those Slim Jim tools or something where they go in and
right.
Yeah, okay. I got you.
So that was nice. And I have it hanging here all the time.
Oh,
it's a Christmas tree all year round. So I have a beaded Christmas tree thanks, Mom.
Isn't that really cool though, to think that, even though we've in a large way said goodbye to these people, they're probably still very much aware and active of what's going on in our lives and present, and probably helping in a way that we just can't see most of the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I've been watched over, and very thankful for it for years.
Yeah. No doubt.
It all started with sitting under the table. I was being protected by family. I'm still being protected.
It is very symbolic, though, isn't it?
It is.
That's how the journey started, and that's your experience now. Is that you're still sitting under the table with them surrounding you. That's really wonderful.
Isn't that cool?
That's a beautiful metaphor or parable or however you'd put that. Yeah, I like that.
Thank you.
I think it's just nice to know that we're not forgotten in it all. Of course, letting go of our loved ones, which is part of grieving and healing, is just to release them and to let them move on with their experience. But to know that maybe they're just always there. I love that idea.
Well, when my cousins had passed away, I've had 2 cousins pass away. And a few uncles.
Oh, okay.
The little tokens that they give at the services, I keep them in the car, so they're always with me.
Oh, very cool.
So
yeah,
it's just me, something I do.
Yeah,
I invite it. These things.
Yeah,
I don't know, but it is cool, and I'm okay with it.
I think it's amazing. I think it's beautiful. Not only as a memory of their part of their presence in your life or their participation in your life, but just as talismans of a sort, that they're, pieces that we keep close to us to just, keep them close to us. So that's very, very cool. Yeah.
Well, I love them so.
What's that?
I love them. So it's
clearly you do.
It's going to get crowded in the car.
I don't think they take up too much room though. So that works out.
No, they don't. They're hanging on the blinker.
No, that's wonderful.
So, at least they don't need a seatbelt.
No, well, you probably should still wear one.
Yeah. Well, yeah, me.
Oh,
yes.
they. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So we're I'm sure they still love you and are around you for sure. Where are we going next?
Let's see. I have Willow Creek. I've traveled to Willow Creek, which was damn fun.
Was it? Okay.
It was damn fun. Me and Cindy, again, we're always stuck together, taking care of each other. And so she's not going to let me go on a road trip that far without herself. She's gonna jump in the truck. I mean, a trunk.
Sure.
She just won't let me go by myself. Okay, that's fine. So she's up for it. She's not into the Bigfoot thing or ghosts or anything like that. But she's got to take care of little sister. So it was really, really nice. Ever since I was a kid, I've always wanted to go to Willow Creek to see the town where all this stuff happens. And I know it happened throughout Humboldt County, the Patty phenomenon, that kind of thing. But Willow Creek is the place where everybody goes and gathers. And so I had to go see. And so threw her in the car and we took off for a weekend. And we saw the parade. And then after the parade, they had a festival, which was really nice. And it's Humboldt County. So there was a lot of weed, smoke
at
the festival, which was fine. It was a lot of fun.
Sure.
But later that afternoon, we took off to just to see the roads, just drive around. And lo and behold, we're on this road. I don't know if it's 96 or 69. I don't know. But I see a sign and it says Bluff Creek. What? I go, oh, my dog's getting excited. I go, Cindy, did you see that? Did you see what we just passed? And she goes, no, what? And I whip the car around, and she bumps her head. And I go, Cindy, look at that sign. And she goes, what? I go, we're going to go up that road. And it was one lane dirt road.
Oh, wow.
And we went up that road. And it was so cool. Of course, I'm trying to film everything. I'm driving and trying to film and everything. Yeah. And it was a very scary, dark road.
Was it?
Yeah. And even though the sign said Bluff Creek, I don't think it was the place.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Where she was. But I had to continue on that road. So we travel about a mile or so. We have no idea where we're going. No idea.
Okay.
And it's getting darker and darker. And every now and again, you see a car coming down the hill. And you have to move up to the side, or they have to go to the edge to pass each other. Oh, those people are not happy. They were not happy. And I'm thinking, this is Humboldt County. Maybe we shouldn't be up here.
Oh, yeah.
But no, I had to, no. Put your helmet on, Cindy. We're going to still go. So she said, okay, let's go. And it's your car, your vacation. So we stop in the middle of the road eventually. And we're just admiring everything. Everything is so green and beautiful. But we did have something thrown at us.
Really?
Yes, we did. But, I need to go logical. Did something roll off the hill? Yeah. But it wasn't a big hill. But I didn't say anything. And so we get in the car and I go, did you notice that we had a rock land in the middle of the road? She goes, you know what? I did notice that.
Ah.
Oh, Cindy. Do you think we were a target? I'm all happy we're a target. She's going, no way. No way. Oh. So we continue back on the road. Again, still one lane dirt road. And we traveled for quite a while. And like I said, we don't know where we're going. But we ended up at Fish Lake. I don't know if you're familiar with that. But anyway, there's a sign that says Bluff Creek, and then you take this crazy road and you get to Fish Lake. Okay. And it's just a really, really super nice, quiet campground.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. And I hope they keep it really quiet. And we just tooled around there for a few hours, just admiring everything, I was hoping I'd get a sighting. Yeah. She was hoping, let's get in the car and get the hell out of here. So that was fun.
Oh, that's neat. Now,
yeah.
Is it possible the rock could have come by some just mundane reason? Sure. But I mean, that's one of those activities that's so hard to understand. Like if you didn't hear anything else falling from that hillside, it was just a rock.
It was just a rock.
That doesn't seem likely to me. just on the outside looking in. I wasn't there, but the other part of it is it's like in the animal kingdom, there's not really anything that would be throwing rocks except a Bigfoot. You know what I mean? Like
that's it's one of those.
Yeah.
You got to question, and it's
Right.
not like it rolled off the hill.
Sure.
It landed in the middle of the road.
Just boom. How big was it? Did you see the rock itself?
It was about that big.
Oh, so it was really like softball size. Okay.
Yeah, it was a good sized rock.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Oof. Yeah, that even narrows it down even more, because there is a possibility a squirrel may have, somehow dislodged a rock in a tree nearby or something. I mean, it's just a mad grab at something mundane.
Yeah.
But when you're talking softball size, all of a sudden that's just not even part of the equation anymore.
it was a good size.
Wow.
But because that happened and we were already in the car, we got out of there.
Yeah.
We just
yeah.
kept going. We just continued up the road. I wasn't going to get out and take a picture.
That's incredible.
I'm sorry, but
Sure.
maybe I should have, but
Yeah.
I didn't.
I always, especially if it's a rock that size, that's already starting off at a pretty aggressive place, really, because if it's small pebbles, okay, yeah, I'll get out and brave the pebbles. That may turn into bigger rocks, because it always does seem to escalate in these stories. It's like it'll start out with small pebbles, then it'll turn into little bigger rocks, and then it might be, larger rocks or, big sticks, and then, et cetera, et cetera. But that one started out at big rocks. So maybe
That was a big rock.
that may be a good place to cut off the experience. Yeah.
It was significant. I mean, and for us to acknowledge, both of us,
Yeah.
that was a good size rock.
Oof.
Let's go.
Yeah. And it was right in front of your car. Was that where it was?
It was.
Okay.
It was.
But you were able to see it come down and go boom. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So it was quite the experience. Glad I had it,
Yes.
but I don't want to get hit with one.
No. I
I'm
think
still waiting for a sighting, but honestly, I have to say, I don't think it's in my cards to have a sighting. So I have to make my peace with that.
well, you had some kind of experience that could very well have been Bigfoot, and that's better than most, honestly. Most people will never have anything happen, even the ones that are adamantly looking for it are never going to find or see or experience anything. It's just, I don't know how many of them are out there, but I think that they probably are very picky about who and how they interact with any of us. And so I guess if you made the cut to get a rock thrown, even though it seems kind of like, hey, watch yourself, you're in my neighborhood now. It almost seems territorial.
Well, yeah, we stopped in the middle of the road, in the middle of nowhere,
Yeah. Wow.
in a dark forest. Yeah, I'm in their territory.
Yeah, and that's like
Enough said.
that's like the nothing to see here, move along kind of statement right there. Yeah.
Right.
So-
right. Yeah. It came from
That's
yeah.
incredible.
I'm glad I had that experience.
I am too, and I think that's exceptional. And as I said, I think it's exceptionally rare. But you should count yourself as fortunate, because, again, there's a lot of people out there looking every spare moment they have, and they'll never see or experience anything. But yep, you got one.
But
We are about moving up into the neighborhood of getting close to an hour now. So,
okay.
are you going to come back and talk to me again?
I will. I have, a couple of other things, but it can wait.
Well,
I'll come back.
if it's a couple other things you want to wrap it up now, that's fine. But you're always welcome to come back as well. So,
I'll come back.
all right, you're going to come back, and I just want to thank you so much for coming on. I know this isn't in your nature to get out and just start, opening yourself up and sharing these kind of things, but I'm really proud of you for doing it, and I'm really thankful for that, because, again, when people come forward and share their experiences, and they don't need to be Hollywood level experiences, just some of the smallest thing to me is the most impactful. And you've certainly shared some real bombshells with me today. So thank you so much, Barbara. I really love doing this with you.
Thank you so much. And to everybody out there, thank you.
Oh, it's our
Nice.
pleasure. So yeah, we'll talk and get you back on, and we'll continue the journey and continue our discussions. So, but thank you again, and until next time.
Looking forward to it. Bye.
All right, everybody, that's going to wrap it up for us today. So hope you guys enjoyed the show, and thank you again so much for all your love and support. And remember, if you want to follow the Paranormal Portal, probably the easiest way is to head over to paranormalportal.net. And that's the homepage for the Paranormal Portal. And you'll find links to all of our different social media and sites and information about the shows, including our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/paranormalportal. Or just look for Paranormal Portal on Google or whatever search engine, and you'll find links to our social media such as Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. So we're kind of all over the place, and we're spreading as well as we can. But anyway, thank you so much for the love and support. You all take care, and remember, we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other, help each other out, find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. Until next time.